Welcome back to Room 57, where we dive into the darkest, most complex, and controversial criminal cases from around the globe. Today, we're delving into one of the most talked about and debated cases of the 21st century, the story of Amanda Knox. This case has sparked endless media coverage, intense public scrutiny, and deep legal debates for years. Amanda Knox, a young American student studying abroad in Italy, was accused of murdering her British roommate, Meredith Kercher, in 2007. What followed was a legal battle that captured the world's attention with twists, turns, media sensationalism, and questions about justice, truth, and the power of public opinion. Was Amanda Knox guilty, or was she the victim of a wrongful conviction and a broken system? The case continues to raise fundamental questions about the criminal justice system, media influence, and the consequences of being caught in the crossfire of a high-profile trial. In this video, we'll explore the Amanda Knox case from the very beginning, looking into the details of the murder, the investigation, the trials, and the ongoing debates about her guilt or innocence. We'll break down the key facts, the roles of the media, and the impact this case has had on global legal systems. Join us as we unravel the complicated layers of one of the most highly publicized criminal trials in modern history. Get ready to explore a case that's still raising questions. Was Amanda Knox guilty of murder, or was she just a victim of circumstance? Part 1. The murder of Meredith Kercher. The case that shocked the world night of the murder, November 1, 2007. On November 1, 2007, the peaceful town of Perugia, Italy, was shaken by the brutal murder of Meredith Kercher, a 21-year-old British student. Meredith's body was found in her apartment, stabbed multiple times, and there were signs of a sexual assault. The murder was horrific, and as news of her death spread, the small town and the rest of the world were left in shock. Meredith was living with Amanda Knox, an American student, in a shared apartment. Just a few days before Meredith's tragic death, Knox and her Italian boyfriend, Raffaele Solicito, had been seen spending time together in the city. Knox's relationship with her roommate, Meredith, had appeared to be friendly, and there was no apparent reason for the violence that had unfolded. Soon after the discovery of Meredith's body, Amanda Knox and Raffaele Solicito became the prime suspects. The investigation moved quickly, and before long, Knox and Solicito found themselves in the eye of a legal storm, one that would change their lives forever. The investigation begins, a web of suspicion. The initial stages of the investigation were messy, marked by mistakes, miscommunication, and a growing media frenzy. At the time, Amanda Knox became a focus for suspicion. Her behavior after Meredith's death was seen as strange, laughing, kissing her boyfriend, and acting seemingly detached from the gravity of the situation. This led police to believe that Knox was hiding something, and they began to focus their investigation heavily on her. One of the major turning points was Amanda Knox's initial confession. Under intense pressure, Knox gave a statement that implicated Patrick Lumumba, a Congolese bar owner whom she worked for, as the murderer. However, she later retracted this confession, claiming it was forced under duress and without a lawyer present. The fact that Knox initially confessed, only to withdraw the statement, cast further doubt on her involvement in the crime. Despite the retraction, the investigation moved forward, and Knox and her boyfriend were soon arrested and charged with the murder of Meredith Kercher. However, the lack of physical evidence connecting them to the crime would soon become a key point of contention in the legal proceedings. The role of Rudy Guetti, the third suspect as the investigation deepened. Another figure emerged, Rudy Guetti, a 20-year-old from the Ivory Coast. Guetti had a history of petty crimes, and his fingerprints were found in Meredith's apartment, along with traces of his DNA on her body. He was eventually arrested and charged with murder, though his version of events was inconsistent. Guetti's defense was that he was present during the crime, but didn't commit the murder. He later claimed that he had been in the apartment when the killing occurred, but that other people were responsible. This admission led to a new theory in the case, suggesting that Guetti might not have acted alone, but that others like Knox and Solicito could have helped him die in 2008. Rudy Guetti was convicted of murder and sexual assault, but his trial raised questions about the involvement of Knox and Solicito. Guetti's conviction was seen as significant, but the ambiguity surrounding his statements, along with the lack of evidence connecting him to the victim in a direct manner, left many wondering whether he was being used as a scapegoat. The media frenzy, Amanda Knox as the Foxy Knoxy. As the investigation and subsequent trial gained attention, Amanda Knox became a media sensation. The press quickly dubbed her Foxy Knoxy, playing into a narrative that painted her as a beautiful, young American woman accused of a brutal murder. This media portrayal focused more on Knox's personality and her unusual behavior than on the actual evidence against her. The role of the media in shaping public opinion cannot be underestimated. Stories about Knox's sex appeal, her behavior after Meredith's death, and her alleged involvement in the murder spread across tabloids worldwide. The media's portrayal of Knox as a provocative and cold-blooded killer played a significant role in her conviction. Even before the trial had ended, the media's bias against Knox and her portrayal as a villain created a pervasive atmosphere of judgment. Many felt that the trial was being held in the court of public opinion before it even began, making it difficult for Knox to receive a fair trial. The trial, the conviction, and the appeal in 2009, Amanda Knox and Raffaele Sollecito were convicted of murder and sexual assault. The court sentenced Knox to 26 years in prison, while Sollecito received 25 years. The conviction came after months of trial proceedings, much of which were colored by the media frenzy surrounding the case. Despite the verdict, there were significant flaws in the case. The lack of physical evidence directly linking Knox and Sollecito to the murder, combined with questions about the handling of forensic evidence, made it clear that the case was far from straightforward. The inconsistencies in the prosecution's argument were evident to many observers, and Knox and Sollecito's defense team vowed to fight the conviction. In 2011, Amanda Knox's conviction was overturned on appeal. The court found the evidence against her was insufficient and that the trial had been flawed. Knox was released from prison after serving for years, but the road to justice was far from over. Conclusion of Part 1. The case of Amanda Knox continues to spark intense debates about justice, the role of the media, and the impact of public opinion on legal proceedings. What initially appeared to be a straightforward case of murder turned into a complex, multifaceted story of wrongful conviction, media sensationalism, and legal ambiguity. In the next part of this series, we will examine the aftermath of Amanda Knox's release, the long legal battle that followed, and the global implications of her case. We'll explore how her story has become a symbol of justice, and how it continues to impact the world's understanding of legal systems, media influence, and the pursuit of truth. Stay tuned as we continue to unravel one of the most fascinating and controversial cases in modern criminal history. Part 2. The legal battle after Amanda Knox's release. The fight for justice and the global impact after Amanda Knox's conviction was overturned in 2011. The public and the media were left in shock and disbelief. The woman once vilified as a cold-blooded killer was now free, but her release came with an immense sense of uncertainty for Knox. The years spent in prison and the years-long legal battle that ensued after her release represented a complex mix of victory and trauma. But the story didn't end with her release. Rather, it marked the beginning of another legal struggle, the global ramifications of which continue to resonate today. The aftermath of Amanda Knox's release. Amanda Knox's release was met with jubilant celebrations from her supporters, but it also sparked a wave of criticism from those who still believed she was guilty. Her acquittal by the Italian appellate court did not erase the stain of suspicion that still lingered in the minds of many. For Knox, the psychological toll of the trial and prison was immense, and it would take years for her to reclaim any semblance of normalcy. In the aftermath of the acquittal, Knox and Raffaele Sollecito were free, but the legal system's impact on their lives was far from over. In Italy, the legal process is complicated, and Knox was still technically facing potential retrial by Italy's highest court. While she was no longer in prison, the idea of a definitive end to the legal battle was elusive. The most pressing question at the time was, would the acquittal stick? Could the judicial system in Italy, with its history of appeals and retrials, truly close the book on Knox's case, or would she face another day in court? The second trial, the retrial of Amanda Knox and Raffaele Sollecito in 2014, the Italian court made a decision that would thrust Amanda Knox back into the international spotlight. Despite her acquittal in 2011, Italy's highest court, the Court of Cassation, ruled that the case should be reopened. The court found that there had been substantial flaws in the previous appeals, and that there needed to be further examination of the evidence. This second trial was marked by dramatic moments that rekindled the intense global media coverage surrounding the case. Many legal experts believe that the new trial was a political decision more than a fair examination of the evidence. Italy's complex legal structure seemed to be putting Knox through a cycle of indefinite uncertainty. Despite the apparent weakness of the case against her, during the retrial, prosecutors reintroduced old evidence, but much of it was either inconclusive or contested. The lack of forensic evidence linking Knox and Sollecito to the crime was one of the main arguments in their favor. Furthermore, Rudy Guidi, the third man involved in the murder, had already been convicted. Guidi's presence at the scene, along with his inconsistent testimony, seemed to complicate any attempt to place the blame solely on Knox and Sollecito. The retrial also brought forward another issue: the role of the media in shaping public opinion. Throughout the process, media coverage was often inflammatory, and sensational headlines continued to dominate. Amanda was painted as either a murderess or a victim by the press, but the legal system was still stuck in the limbo of an Unresolved case. In 2015, the Court of Cassation in Italy once again cleared Knox and Solicito of all charges. The court concluded that the evidence against them was insufficient and that they were both innocent of the crime. This verdict represented a final end to the case for many, but it also left open the question of whether Knox would ever truly be free from the shadow of suspicion. The global impact, a case that shaped legal systems. Amanda Knox's legal saga, which began in 2007 with the murder of Meredith Kercher, didn't just affect the individuals involved. It had a profound impact on the way international legal systems approach wrongful convictions, the role of the media in criminal trials, and how the courts deal with evidence and public perception. Her case highlighted the importance of a fair trial, due process, and the dangers of media manipulation in criminal cases. 1. The media and the influence of public opinion. The Amanda Knox case stands as one of the starkest examples of how the media can shape public opinion in a criminal trial. From the moment the case became public, Amanda Knox's image was shaped by sensational headlines that focused on her looks, behavior, and personal life rather than the legal facts of the case. This distorted portrayal often overshadowed the case's legitimate legal questions and has had lasting effects on Knox's reputation even after her exoneration. The media's tendency to stigmatize individuals in high-profile cases can be damaging, not just for the accused, but for the integrity of the legal system. Knox's case illustrated how media coverage can create a guilty until proven innocent mentality, putting pressure on the judicial system to convict someone based on public opinion rather than solid evidence. 2. International legal implications. A case of judicial system struggle. Amanda Knox trial also highlighted significant issues within the Italian judicial system, particularly regarding the complexities of the appeals process. The fact that Amanda Knox was retried multiple times and faced years of uncertainty is a reminder of how a prolonged and convoluted legal process can create profound psychological and emotional consequences for the accused. For international observers, particularly those from countries with more streamlined legal systems, the case revealed the flaws within the Italian judicial framework. It raised concerns about the speed of justice, the effectiveness of judicial oversight, and the accountability of prosecutors. At the same time, the case also raised important questions about the role of appeals in ensuring fairness. Should the possibility of multiple retrials in a case like this be allowed, particularly when the initial trial lacks substantial evidence? Amanda Knox, as an advocate for the wrongfully convicted despite the pain and trauma of her experience, Amanda Knox turned her wrongful conviction into a platform for advocacy. After her release, Knox became a vocal advocate for the wrongfully convicted. She used her public platform to raise awareness about the flaws in the criminal justice system, especially the dangers of wrongful convictions and the influence of the media on legal outcomes. In 2013, Knox wrote a memoir titled Waiting to Be Heard, which detailed her personal journey through the legal system, her time in prison, and her subsequent fight for justice. In her book, she spoke out about her experiences of being wrongfully convicted, as well as her reflections on the media circus that surrounded her case. Her advocacy has continued in various forms through interviews, articles, and participation in documentaries and discussions about criminal justice reform. Knox's story has sparked conversations about how we treat those accused of serious crimes, the importance of fair trials, and the dangers of public trials in the court of media opinion. In many ways, her case has become a symbol of resilience and an ongoing fight for justice in the face of overwhelming odds. Amanda Knox's life after the trials, moving forward since her release. Amanda Knox has attempted to rebuild her life and find some semblance of normalcy. She returned to the United States, completed her education, and has since become a prominent figure in the fight for criminal justice reform. She has also used her platform to advocate for those who have been wrongfully convicted, working with organizations that aim to prevent miscarriages of justice. Her life after prison has not been easy. Despite being exonerated, she continues to face the stigma of her past. The memories of the media frenzy and the constant public scrutiny have left scars, but she has managed to move forward. In 2021, Knox married Christopher Robinson, a writer and professor, and the two welcomed a daughter in 2022. It seems as though she is finally starting to put her tumultuous past behind her, but the legacy of her case will likely follow her for the rest of her life. Conclusion of Part 2. Amanda Knox's story is one of survival, resilience, and the relentless pursuit of justice. It is a tale of a woman who faced incredible odds, from wrongful conviction to years of public scrutiny, but emerged as an advocate for criminal justice reform. Her case continues to resonate in the broader conversation about the intersection of media, law, and public opinion and the devastating effects of wrongful convictions. In the final part of this series, we will explore the legacy of the Amanda Knox case, the ongoing impact on the criminal justice system, and the lessons that have been learned from her experience. Stay tuned as we wrap up the story of a woman who became an international symbol of justice, injustice, and the fight for fairness. Part 3. The legacy of the Amanda Knox case. The global impact and continuing repercussions. 10 to 15 minutes. The Amanda Knox case is one of the most controversial criminal cases in modern history, capturing the attention of millions of people around the world. What started as a tragic murder turned into a complex and protracted legal battle that spanned several years and captured the media's fascination. The case has raised fundamental questions about the criminal justice system, the role of the media, and how public opinion can shape legal proceedings. In this part of the video, we will explore the lasting legacy of the Amanda Knox case and the global implications it holds for justice systems around the world. The public perception of Amanda Knox, a victim of media sensationalism. The moment Amanda Knox was accused of murder in 2007, the media's portrayal of her as the foxy Knoxy played a significant role in shaping public perception. In the eyes of the media, Knox was more than just a suspect in a murder case. She was a character to be dissected and analyzed. The press fixated on her looks, behavior, and personal life, often overshadowing the actual details of the case. This became a powerful narrative that made it difficult for many to separate fact from fiction. The media frenzy surrounding Amanda Knox's trial was unlike anything seen before. Headlines screamed of her involvement in a sex-fueled murder, and the tabloid portrayal of Knox as an ice-cold killer went viral. Her personal life, including her relationships and her behavior after Meredith Kercher's death, was scrutinized and sensationalized. Even her physical appearance was politicized, with commentators referring to her as a foxy femme fatale. This characterization became so pervasive that even after her acquittal, many people still struggled to believe in her innocence. What was most troubling about the media's portrayal of Knox was the injustice of trial by media. Her case was not just a legal matter, it became a spectacle. The relentless media scrutiny played a pivotal role in influencing public opinion. It painted a picture of a woman who was guilty before she was even tried. It's a stark reminder of the power the media has to shape narratives, sometimes at the expense of fairness and due process. As Knox was exonerated and eventually released from prison, her public image was left in tatters. Even though her innocence was legally proven, the damage done to her reputation by years of media distortion has lasted. It's a reflection of how public opinion, fueled by the media, can become so powerful that it can overshadow the legal truth of a case. Knox herself has reflected on the toll this public perception has taken on her. In interviews and in her memoir, Waiting to Be Heard, she described how she had to fight not only for her freedom, but also for her name and reputation. She has become a powerful voice against media manipulation, using her platform to advocate for those who are wrongly convicted and for a more fair and ethical approach to media coverage of criminal trials. The role of social media and the internet amplifying the case. While traditional media played a significant role in shaping public opinion, the advent of social media has taken the ability to influence and manipulate public opinion to new heights. The Amanda Knox case is a prime example of how social media and online platforms can affect the narrative of a criminal case in real time. During the trial, social media platforms like Twitter, Facebook, and Reddit allowed users to follow every twist and turn of the case. Online discussions quickly became polarized, with many social media users passionately debating Knox's guilt or innocence. Some believed she was innocent, while others became convinced of her guilt based on the information shared by news outlets. These online communities often became echo chambers, where individuals who already held preconceived notions about Knox's guilt or innocence were reinforced by like-minded people. The internet's role in this case was both empowering and damaging. Empowering because it allowed individuals to take part in the legal discourse, share opinions, and follow the case closely. However, it was also damaging, as social media amplified the sensational aspects of the case and contributed to the trial by public opinion. The anonymity and reach of the internet allowed individuals to spread unfounded rumors, attack Knox personally, and sometimes make dangerous accusations without accountability. Amanda Knox's fight for justice, advocacy for the wrongfully convicted. After her release, Amanda Knox became more than just a survivor of a wrongful conviction. She became a powerful advocate for criminal justice reform. Her experience in prison and the years she spent fighting to prove her innocence opened her eyes to the larger issue of wrongful convictions and flaws in the criminal justice system. Knox has dedicated much of her post-trial life to helping others who have been wrongfully convicted. She has worked with organizations like the Innocence Project, which fights to exonerate those who have been unjustly imprisoned. Through her advocacy, Knox has raised awareness about the systemic issues in criminal justice systems worldwide, including the impact of media bias on trials, the coercion of confessions, and the challenges of obtaining justice for the innocent. One of the most notable ways Amanda Knox has contributed to the conversation about wrongful convictions is by speaking out about the media's role in creating public perceptions of guilt. In her memoir and various interviews, she has highlighted how the media has the power to create a narrative that can influence the course of a trial. She's become a voice for those who suffer from the same injustices she did: a wrongful conviction, followed by years of legal battles, all in the public eye. The global impact, legal reforms, and lessons learned. Amanda Knox's case not only affected the U.S. and Italy, but also had far-reaching consequences for the international legal system. It raised questions about the importance of legal protections, the integrity of evidence handling, and the role of the media in shaping justice. Her case became a cautionary tale for countries with less developed judicial systems, highlighting the importance of fair trials, due process, and protecting the rights of the accused. For countries where wrongful convictions are more common, the Amanda Knox case served as a call to examine how the media and the courts influence the outcome of criminal trials. The case also brought attention to the importance of transparency in legal proceedings and how investigations should be conducted fairly and with respect for the accused. The Amanda Knox case served as a catalyst for calls to reform certain legal practices, particularly in relation to interrogation tactics and the treatment of suspects before trial. On a global scale, Knox's case has prompted international legal organizations to push for reforms aimed at preventing wrongful convictions. Organizations such as the United Nations Human Rights Council and the International Criminal Court have underscored the importance of upholding fair trial standards in all countries, particularly those where judicial processes are vulnerable to political pressure or media influence. A symbol of resilience, Amanda Knox's continued journey despite everything she endured. Amanda Knox has proven herself to be a symbol of resilience. Over the years, she has rebuilt her life, returning to the U.S., completing her degree, and finding a sense of normalcy. She has become a wife and a mother, slowly moving forward from the tragedy of the past. However, the shadow of her case remains. Knox is often asked about the toll her legal battle has taken on her, but she has consistently emphasized her desire to move forward and use her story to help others. Her journey has turned her into a voice for those whose cases are still in limbo, advocating for justice, fairness, and the right to a fair trial. Her advocacy continues, and her involvement in media projects, including the Netflix documentary about her case and her memoir, ensures that her story continues to shape conversations about criminal justice reform. Amanda Knox's case remains a stark reminder of the fragility of justice, especially when powerful forces like the media and public opinion intervene. Conclusion of Part 3. The legacy of the Amanda Knox case is far-reaching and continues to evolve. Her journey has impacted the criminal justice system, public perception, and the way media handles high-profile trials. It serves as a powerful reminder of the importance of fair trials, the dangers of media influence, and the need for reform in legal systems around the world. As we reflect on the lessons learned from this case, we must ask ourselves, how can we ensure that future trials are fair, that the rights of the accused are protected, and that public opinion does not interfere with justice? In the end, Amanda Knox's story is one of survival, resilience, and the unrelenting fight for truth and justice. Her case continues to influence legal systems, media coverage, and public opinion in ways that will resonate for years to come. What do you think about Amanda Knox's case? Was she wrongfully convicted? How do you feel about the role of media in high-profile cases like hers? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to Room 57 for more in-depth investigations and discussions on the most fascinating and controversial criminal cases. Stay tuned for more as we continue to explore the world of crime, justice, and the global impact of legal cases like Amanda Knox's. Part 4. The societal impact and lessons learned. The case that changed public perception of justice. The Amanda Knox case has undeniably shaped the way the world views justice, especially in high-profile criminal trials. Not only did it raise significant legal questions, but it also sparked global conversations about the role of the media, wrongful convictions, and the rights of the accused in criminal investigations. Beyond the courtroom, Knox's story has had an enormous societal impact, with profound lessons for both the legal system and the general public. The global debate over media influence and justice is one of the most striking consequences of the Amanda Knox case has been the discussion surrounding the media's influence on the judicial process. Knox's trial became a media spectacle, with journalists and tabloids portraying her as everything from a femme fatale to a wrongful convict. The press depicted her as guilty before the trial even began, based more on sensational headlines than on actual evidence. This media frenzy raises crucial questions about press ethics, especially when it comes to reporting on criminal cases. The case highlighted the dangers of trial by media, where the accused can be convicted in the public eye before they even set foot in court. The role of social media in amplifying this phenomenon cannot be underestimated. Public opinion, influenced by media portrayals, often overrides the need for an impartial legal process. The case forced us to ask, how can we balance freedom of the press with the rights of the accused? To a fair trial, how do we ensure that justice isn't compromised by sensationalist media coverage? The importance of judicial integrity and fair trial saw Amanda Knox's wrongful conviction and subsequent exoneration shed light on the flaws in the criminal justice system not just in Italy, but globally. The case demonstrated that impartiality in the judiciary is not always guaranteed, whether it's the failure to protect a suspect's rights during an interrogation or a legal system that allows media pressure to affect the course of justice. The Knox case underscored the need for reforms in how courts handle high-profile cases. The Italian judicial system was heavily criticized for its handling of the case, particularly in the investigation and the initial trial. The fact that Knox and Solicito were subjected to a second trial after their acquittal raised concerns about double jeopardy and the impact of political pressures on legal proceedings. This case serves as a reminder of how crucial it is to ensure that laws are followed to the letter, and that evidence is thoroughly evaluated without external influences. The global legal community has since had to ask itself whether the rules of justice were properly upheld and whether reforms are needed to prevent a similar scenario in the future. The wrongful convictions epidemic. Amanda Knox's case brought much-needed attention to the issue of wrongful convictions, a problem that exists not only in the United States, but around the world. Studies have shown that wrongful convictions are far more common than most people realize, with thousands of individuals wrongly imprisoned each year in the U.S. For example, DNA evidence has helped to exonerate numerous wrongly convicted people who have spent decades in prison for crimes they didn't commit. The Amanda Knox case has encouraged more focus on innocence projects and organizations that work to right wrongs in the legal system. Organizations like the Innocence Project have helped to uncover miscarriages of justice and exonerate the innocent, and Knox herself has used her platform to advocate for those who have been wrongfully convicted. The case brought to light the flaws in the criminal justice system, particularly when it comes to the handling of evidence, coerced confessions, and biased media portrayals of the accused. Knox's case underscores the importance of continually scrutinizing the justice system to ensure that those accused of crimes receive a fair trial, with due process upheld at every step. The power of advocacy and support networks. Amanda Knox's story is also a powerful testament to the importance of advocacy and support networks. In the face of a legal battle, Knox was not alone throughout her ordeal. She had the support of her family, legal team, and various organizations working to ensure that she received fair treatment and the opportunity to clear her name. Her case has inspired many other individuals who have faced similar wrongful convictions to speak out and share their stories. It has also highlighted the importance of having a strong defense team, one that isn't afraid to challenge the system and fight for justice, even in the face of overwhelming public opinion. Moreover, Amanda Knox's ability to advocate for herself after her release is a powerful message to others caught in the system. After returning to the United States, she didn't just disappear into obscurity. She became an active voice for criminal justice reform and wrongful convictions. Her memoir, Waiting to Be Heard, her documentary, and public appearances have made her a key figure in the discussion surrounding legal fairness and the rights of the accused. The societal lessons of the Amanda Knox case. The case of Amanda Knox leaves us with critical lessons about justice, media ethics, and the importance of fair trials. As we look back on this case, we should reflect on how easily an individual can become the victim of both a wrongful conviction and media distortion. We must ask ourselves how we can ensure that public opinion does not interfere with legal proceedings, and how we can protect the right to a fair trial for everyone, no matter the circumstances. Knox's case is a reminder that the system isn't perfect, but with the right reforms, we can move closer to justice for all. Her exoneration is not just a personal victory, but a victory for all those who believe in the power of truth and the importance of protecting the innocent. A call for reform, the case for systemic change. Given the global impact of the Amanda Knox case, the time has come to seriously consider reform in criminal justice systems worldwide. Knox's wrongful conviction highlights the need for changes in several areas. The handling of media in high-profile cases. How can we ensure that media coverage doesn't compromise the fairness of trials? Interrogation practices. How can we prevent coerced confessions and ensure suspects' rights are always protected? Judicial integrity and the appeals process. Should there be more checks and balances to prevent flawed verdicts or political influence from affecting the judicial process? The Amanda Knox case remains one of the most important modern examples of how justice systems need to evolve to better serve the public, with a stronger focus on fairness, impartiality, and reform. Conclusion of Part 4. The Amanda Knox case will continue to be remembered as a symbol of both the fragility and resilience of the justice system. Her story sheds light on the power of media to shape a narrative the vulnerabilities within the judicial system, and the importance of fighting for what's right, even when it seems impossible. From her wrongful conviction to her eventual exoneration, Amanda Knox's journey has left an indelible mark on legal history and remains a rallying cry for those seeking justice and fairness in an imperfect world. As we close the chapter on this case, we must remember the lessons learned and the ongoing need to improve the way we approach criminal trials, media coverage, and public perception. The fight for justice is far from over, but the story of Amanda Knox serves as both a warning and a call to action for all of us. Now that we've explored the complex and controversial case of Amanda Knox, we'd love to hear your thoughts. Do you believe Amanda Knox was truly wrongfully convicted? Or do you think there's still doubt about her involvement in Meredith Kercher's murder? How do you feel about the role of the media in shaping public opinion and influencing legal outcomes? Let us know your perspective in the comments below. Don't forget to like and share this video with friends who are interested in legal battles, criminal justice reform, and high-profile cases like this one. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to Room 57 for more in-depth dives into the most intriguing criminal cases and legal controversies. Hit the notification bell so you never miss our latest videos as we continue to explore the complex world of crime, justice, and the legal system. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for more fascinating content right here on Room 57. Let me know if you'd like any changes or further adjustments.